Good morning, everyone. Clap once if you hear me. Clap twice. 3 times. All right. So, good morning. Did you all enjoy yesterday? Yes. So we have a lot more for today. We are very excited. Sorry to start a few minutes late, technical difficulties. But we are ready to kick everything off. We are going to start with remarks from Councilman Andre Dickens, a city councilman here in Atlanta, who's going to bring greetings on behalf of the city. And we are really excited. Actually met Councilman Dixon when he was, I was doing some work with the Georgia Minority Male Initiative, Black Male Initiative here, and he was doing a lot of work at Georgia Tech. So he'll probably tell you some about that, but thank you and welcome him to the stage.
Thank you. Good morning once again, and welcome to Atlanta once again. I know this is your second day, but it's like I tell my daughter, you can't say please and thank you enough. So welcome to Atlanta on your second day. It's very good to be here in the midst of lots of presidents, vice presidents, provosts, chancellors, professors, deans, and even those support staff, those people that do student services and outreach work. As mentioned, I'm an Atlanta City Councilman, Andre Dickens. I represent the city of Atlanta citywide. So I'm an at-large council member, born and raised here in Atlanta. And actually my day job is, as mentioned, I work at Georgia Tech, one of my alma maters. And I work, and so I know that some of my colleagues spoke to you yesterday, but I wanted to just give remarks today as we're talking about high-tech, high-touch technology, data-driven interventions. Because that's what I do at Georgia Tech, where we, as he mentioned, I'm the PI and we co-PI on this grant, the African American Male Initiative, and we also do summer bridge programs and outreach and a number of other things. So we're just grateful that you're here inside of our wonderful city. We hope that you enjoy it. We actually hope that you spend money. Boost our economy a little bit, come back, and Atlanta has a rich history with HBCUs, obviously, with Morehouse, Spelman, Clark, ITC, and the like, and all of the wonderful leaders that have come out of those institutions. So Atlanta is inextricably tied to our colleges and universities. We would not be the same. You probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't, and I know I wouldn't be here if it weren't for those universities and colleges. And so, if you think about it, our Mayor Kasim Reed, is from Howard University. Our City Council President, Caesar Mitchell, is from Morehouse, and so on and so forth. This work that you do, this work that we do in student development gives everyone a chance, an opportunity to be better today than they were yesterday, or that they could have been without the efforts that you do. So I'm excited. Our city is grateful that you've chosen us to bring all this intellectual power. I feel it when I was walking down the street. I just felt smarter just being around y'all. We vibrate at a high frequency when you're in a room of this many smart people. So I hope that your outcomes from this discussion, this dialogue, this networking will yield the rewards that our nation deserves. And when you go back to wherever you call home, that you'll remember Atlanta, you'll remember what you learned here in Atlanta, and that you share that with someone else. And come back again. Welcome.
I almost fell. Didn't do it though. So the next person I'm going to bring to the stage, I've known for quite a while. We've worked together on a lot of different projects when I was at the College Board. But before I bring him to the stage, I did want to acknowledge Lorenzo Esters, who is the former person in my position here. He's right over here. He's at Kentucky State now. Before he urge him on until he becomes to the presidency. But a lot of what we're doing would not be possible without the foundation that he built. So if you would join me in thanking Lorenzo. And I do want to take just a moment to acknowledge one of my middle school teachers is here. Miss Morel Speed, she's right here. For those of you who had Miss Bobby Frost in your sessions yesterday as one of our volunteers, she was one of my high school teachers. And so you'll see several of them around here. They are actually volunteering to help me with this conference. So I'm very appreciative of their work. And so we have a lot of volunteers as well. I do want to take just a moment to thank the other schools. We talked about Morehouse Spelman and Clark and Morris Brown, which a lot of my teachers actually went to Morris Brown. But also our other Georgia schools, which are here, also Fort Valley State University. We have Dr. Dozier here with Savannah State University, Dr. Griffith here with Fort Valley. We also have Dr. Jennings, who I think is the interim at Albany State University. So there are quite a few HBCUs in Georgia. I think I've been to Dr. Dunning, sorry, from Albany State University. And it's been, I think I've been to every HBCU campus in Georgia, so I can honestly say that. But now I'm going to introduce from the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for African American, the first executive director, Dr. David Johns, Mr. David J. Johns, who will be coming to bring you greetings from the White House, and to also talk to you about some of the great things that he's doing. He's been really reinvigorating the My Brother's Keeper initiative, and really just a whole lot of initiatives around you've seen a lot of conferences. I think one was here at Morehouse, really around African Americans and improving the plight of African Americans here in the country. And he's doing a lot of good work. So, David.
Thank you, sir. I spent a lot of time with John, so I'm curious to have a conversation about how much he's changed. I'll meet you at the bar after this. First, let me just say thank you to John and Juliet for inviting me into this space. And if you hear me say nothing else, hear me say thank you for the work that each of you do on behalf of our students and our schools and our communities each and every day. I'm also bringing you greetings, as John said, on behalf of President Barack Obama, Secretary of Education Arne Duncan. I imagine that many of you know about the White House Initiative on HBCUs. Is that correct? I'm sure I won't ask for a show of hands, but not as many know about the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for African Americans. I'd like to think that's in part because we are the newest kid on the block, but if I do my job well, that won't be the case going forward. So just at the risk of being Pierce-Nickety, I want to remind everyone that while the White House Initiative on HBCUs is the eldest of the initiatives, there are 5 others that are equally committed to supporting you in your work. There is a White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for Hispanics, another on focusing on Asian American Pacific Islanders, one for Native American, Alaska Natives, and Hawaiians, an office focused on neighborhood, community-based, and faith-based partnerships. And then I have the pleasure of ensuring that we have an unapologetic focus on supporting African American students from birth through college completion and career entry. So just want to make sure that you guys are aware of the fact that we exist. One of our primary goals is to increase the number of African Americans that have post-secondary degrees, credentials, and certificates, and then also to reframe the narrative. So just to make sure that everybody knows, in addition to the My Brother's Keeper initiative, we have partnered with Ebony Magazine, Johnson Publishing Company, to produce a series of summits that in part allow us to reframe how it is that people typically talk about young African American students, primarily young men. So we produced 3 summits thus far, most recently in Oakland, California, at Laney College this past week. The first was here in Atlanta at Morehouse College. But one of the things that we've been able to do is demonstrate that young men are often demanding to have high expectations placed upon them, and then when they're supported, they exceed them and do it with a whole lot of grace and style in the process. One of the partnerships that I just want to lift up as we sort of think about opportunities to work together is a program called Striving Black Brothers at Chabot College. This, like the African American Male Initiative that is at Kennesaw State or a lot of the institutions throughout Georgia, is one that embraces a cohort approach to ensuring that young men have access to supports amongst themselves and amongst or with adults. The second thing I just want to speak to is I know there's someone from FIU on the next panel. FIU has a wonderful partnership with Miami Northwest High School, and this is a space that is mostly well known for being a food desert and a space where those who make it out are often playing sports. But I had the occasion of having a young man who was shot on the way to school at the beginning of the school year provide me with a tour of his campus, and there's a partnership scholarship that essentially has allowed for this young man and others in this community to learn about aquaponics, which was something that I had no idea what it was until he mentioned it, and then I had to ask him to explain it and then go Google it because he said a whole lot of words that I couldn't make sense of at that time, even with my context clues and my fancy degrees. But what was important about this is that this young man understood that he had access to skills that could literally change the lives of those in his community. He talked about and got really excited about testing out a theory to see whether or not the filtration system in this aquaponic system would do a better job than them simply planting things in this community. And so the goal is to take what we often refer to as a food desert and make it a food forest. The point here again is that if we meet our young people with high expectations, and you all know this, they will show up and show out. And so I hope that you will take me up on the offer to help support your work. I'll be around for the rest of the day and would love to engage in further conversations. But if nothing else, just want to make sure that you know that we exist, that there are several initiatives working to support African American students, not just our boys, while my Brother's Keeper is the newest initiative that is focused on highlighting the importance of having intentional conversations around men. It's not at the exclusion of women. There are several other entities that are working to support our women and girls, including ours. So again, thank you for this opportunity.
One of the things David is very known for saying and tweeting, he tweets a lot. So are you all tweeting? Yes. Okay, I'm going to make sure we have our prizes. We're going to give away a few right at the end of this session. We're going to have our top tweeters from yesterday. We have some really good books by some great scholars, Robert Palmer, Mary Beth Gassman, and others who are authors of some of the books that are over there. So now we're going to start our panel. And I would like to introduce our moderator, who is also our newest 1890. This is it's really exciting. I don't know if you all understand. We haven't had an 1890 in a long time. That's been added. Dr. Cynthia Jackson Hammond, who's the president of Central State University, is going to moderate our panel. She's going to introduce you to our other moderators. And a lot of the panelists that you're going to see on this panel are also our MVP award winners. So as Dr. Hammond comes up to the stage, I do want to call... So if you're not familiar with our MVP Awards, it's our Most Visible Progress National Degree Completion Awards, which this year to be called our National Project Degree Completion Awards. But it's given to those universities that have really made strides in improving student success. This concept for the award was actually started with Dr. Lorenzo Esters. And so I had the pleasure of being able to really implement that vision. And it's really been great. So the first year we had the Trailblazer Award, which was for schools who were able to move their graduation rates for all of their students, retention of graduation rates. And then we had the what was the second one? Opportunity Award, which is if you were able to move it for a particular group. And that group could be low-income students, first-generation students. Right now, all of our APLU members are eligible. I do know ASCU is going to be doing a similar award that's going to be coming. But we did not have, although we presented them with this award at the APLU annual meeting, we did not have the actual awards there at the time. So we had like a mock trophy. So I would like to actually present them with their awards. And so the first award I want to present to Florida International University, and I know Douglas is right here in the stage. So Douglas, I would like to present you with the award. And then make sure you take the box.
I want the box.
And our second, and Florida International is a great university. They're doing a lot of good things for low-income students. It's an HSI, so definitely is affecting a lot of Latino students. And it's really the gate. Sorry, that's my morning alarm that I wake up with every morning. No, that's letting me know I should be at work. So our next award is actually going to be presented to which our Trailblazer Award winner, which this year I was very excited because it's also one of my alma maters because I went to Georgia State for my master's, and so Georgia State University with Tim Rennick, and just want to say thank you to the great work that they've done at Georgia State University as well. And yes, your box as well. And there are a couple of us went to GSU for our masters and that type of thing as well. So that's why I got my MPA from the Andrew Young School. So it was really exciting to see the work that they're doing at Georgia State. And we talked about this yesterday about the changes that are happening. One of those changes that we've seen when I went to Georgia State, and I'll say honestly, there was not a commitment for diversity in African Americans. We were sort of tolerated at that time. We were having this conversation the other day. We were just there. But I think the change, and you've sort of seen it with the last two presidents, is moving from where we just have them, they're there, to really an embracing of those students and saying, and I know Georgia State has said unapologetically that we're going to be the #1 producer of African Americans with degrees. That's a powerful statement. I don't even think you understand. They are committed the same way that Georgia Tech has been committed to being either #1 or #2 in certain years, because A&T they're fighting with you. I think they go back and forth, but they're committed to being the #1 producers of African Americans with engineering degrees. And that's something that I think speaks to a difference and a change in universities and a change to the competition that we really talked about yesterday.